What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up.
What is going on? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland Tech Thursday. Gotta change that name. Tech Thursday. It is it's about 10:15 in California right now. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I'm doing well. Doing well. Well enough. There's lots of things that I need to talk about. Lots of things I need to release. Lots of things that I won't answer. I'm just making sure that everything's set up properly here. Anyway, so we will attempt to talk about things that can help you, but also things that won't screw me. That's fairly important. Sound off in the chat if you guys are in the room right now. Sound off in the chat. One thing that I did notice is we do have Engine OS 3.0, which I have not opened up yet. Just because I've been really busy. I've never seen product releases so heavy as this year. This last, I don't know, 4 weeks. It's been extreme. It's been intense. Almost to the point where I've actually had to tell people outside of like industry stuff that I can't do it right now. I can't help you. I have relationships with lots and lots of companies. You know, main companies like Denon and InMusic and Pioneer DJ. But then I also have relationships with smaller companies. You know, the X Vibes of the world, things like that. And sometimes I think people don't understand, first off, how much work is involved in doing stuff. Also, people don't tend to understand that just because you offer somebody a free product, that doesn't mean that it's worth your time. That doesn't mean that it's worth even subjecting people to the product. Your viewers. Philip Tan in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. And this isn't even about an ego thing or anything like that, but like, you know, sometimes it's really hard when people are like, well, can you do this video for me? I'm going to give you this product for free. Like, your product is $100. How does that help me? I do reviews on normal DJ gear, and I will do a review on a product if it will help me. That's it. If it will help me. Not help you, not help your mom. If it will help me. That's the selfishness in it, because why am I going to accept products that don't help me? I'm not just going to sell your product. If your product is garbage, I want to make sure that it works for me. So anytime that I'm not getting, you know, compensation or whatever, that gear better be something that I can use. You know, like when X5 asked me about their wireless XLRs. The stream that gets scheduled yesterday, I don't really care. Because when I set up the thing in OBS, sometimes it just defaults to the date, and that that little calendar mark that you're supposed to change is kind of buried. It's buried underneath. So every so often, the date's wrong. Sorry. You guys know what day I'm coming on. You guys know. It's like when you used to open up the guide and the guide says, oh, this movie's on, and the movie's not on. You just roll with it. So bottom line here is that I just wish companies would and I even told this lady. I don't use Ecamm. No, I don't. I'm on this is my OBS right here. This computer. I even told this lady nicely. Hey, just so you know, I have a lot of other things. I have to actually do reviews on products that people have actually paid me for, or that the product is actually, valued higher than yours. And I got to push yours to the side. I can't do it right now, and it wasn't even I accepted it and I can't do it. It was don't even send me the product. I can't help you right now. I don't have time. And more importantly, I don't have the energy, and she was like, okay, great. Well, can you just do this for me? I was just like, I can't with people sometimes. When you start out reviewing products, obviously you're going to get a lot of companies as you're building up your subscriber base, everything. You're going to get a lot of companies that that will start sending you stuff from Amazon, or usually most of the time it's Amazon. And then once you start to actually get other people and other manufacturers and things like that, they'll start sending you stuff, and then you have to just kind of weigh your time. What's more important? I'd say no to probably 10 to 20 Amazon emails every month. 10 to 20. And it's actually an annoying thing because I actually answer the emails. Like normally I know people will be like, why? No, I'm not doing that. Just let it go. Because like I'll get an email about some, I kid you not, like $45 like laser light show for DJs. Hey, you think you can do a video on this? We'll give it to you for free. Like, kick rocks. First off, it's not even worth my time. Second off, I can't even use this piece of crap. So why would I do a review on it? Third, my viewers are going to be like, why are you reviewing this piece of crap gear? And everything falls apart after that. It's an entirely specific credibility thing. You don't come to my channel to learn about BS products. It's just not what you do. I know this. You know this. Now, of course, there are certain products that may come up that I think are worth your time. There's some things that I have coming out that have absolutely nothing to do with specifically DJing. However, they have everything to do with DJing, if that actually makes sense. This table, I did a review on this table. Love this table. This table was for me. But as DJs that are streaming, I find that a lot of times these are things that can help people. So I'm only bringing stuff to the table that can help people or that can help me. And usually if it helps me, typically speaking, it helps you, is what I have found. I seem to have lost my crossfader on my Denon Prime Go. Well, that's not a good thing. I see it. Okay. So if you did not notice, got scratches on me. If you did not notice, right here it says, I can't answer questions about products that have not been announced. This is a thing. This is a real thing. this is very important for you guys to understand today. I know there's a lot of leaks and announcements, not even announcements, but more like leaks and, you know, prototypes and all that other stuff. Now I've even seen Digital DJ Tips videos. The one where they talk about a Rain 1 hybrid all in one that was put out eons ago. Now, everybody's like, "Oh, look, this is coming out too. This is coming out too." We can't win. We cannot win. So, if something has been placed on a website or on a social media, and you want me to verify or talk about it, unfortunately, I can't. If you put something in the chat, I won't even acknowledge it. Just to be clear, that's just the way it is. If you want the leak show, there are other people out there. Maybe not as many as there used to be. I'll say it that way. But there are other channels out there. Okay, let's see here. So Alexa says, sell me one of the TTM 57SLs you have in your store. That mixer still does the job. Well, I would love to sell you a TTM 57SL. If I owned a store. So, once I open up my store, I'll sell you one. Okay. Let's see here. Joe says, what do you like about the Pioneer? The Pioneer A9. I like that it's an update. I like that the audio is better. I like the center click high pass filter, the filter knob. I do like the center click. What I would have really liked, though, in all honesty, I would have loved to have a filter knob with a tension adjust. That way, when I pull it to start the effect, when I release it, it can slide back to 12. I would have really liked that. Maybe something where it's almost like a dual stage knob, like, you click it up and then you can do whatever. You kick it down, like kind of like a watch. Kind of like a watch. When you're like the more expensive watches where you can wind them up. Usually there's like 3 stages when you pull them out. That's what I'm talking about. What else do I like about it? To be honest with you, I only saw it like 2 times before it was announced. I don't have one with me. Because I think one of the reasons I'm sure I could have forced it, but it really doesn't make sense for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I think people like Mojax makes much more sense, for that review. Mojax and I don't know, people that are actually using, 900s all the time. I don't. Every place I DJ at typically speaking, they're not using 900s anymore. They're using usually S9s all the way up to S11s. So I don't really use it as much. I got to plug in my Denon, and I have to I got to run through it. Maybe we'll do it while we're talking. DJ Don Rafa says, your opinion, A9 for mobile or permanent install? I wouldn't personally take an A9 for mobile. I don't think it's necessary. I think that's a very big mixer to be taken around all the time. Just my opinion, though. Just my opinion. I think most mobile guys, they don't really need it. I think a 2-channel mixer will go very, very far, or a controller. I just think we're kind of past that. I know There are people that every single weekend they bring out their turntables and they bring out their mixers, and that's great. Good for you. I'm just over it. I am just over it. And there's several reasons why I am just over it. The events that I do, of course I could bring my turntables and stuff, but a lot of times, if I'm working with specific event coordinators or event designers, they'll design an entirely complete room from the walls to the ceiling, all the way to your booth. And a lot of the times these booths are not big enough to fit a full size, turntables and mixer, especially in their flight cases. So what that means is I got to take out my stuff, and I don't want to do all that. So I bring a controller because it's easy. Okay, so David Acosta says, if you're lucky, if you live in cities where the clubs have built-in setups, I can name one place that has this. But that's my point. So if there is no setup, why are you bringing all this stuff? If it's just for you, you're better off just bringing a controller, bringing a Rev 7, bringing a Rain 1, and calling it a day. There's nothing that I can't do on my Rain 7. I just said Rain 7. It's early morning. I didn't get my workout in this morning, so I'm all screwed up, in all honesty. But the Rev 7 is fully complete. I can do everything on the Rev 7 that I can do on any turntables and a mixer any day of the week. Okay. All right. Ruben says, ask, not talking about the Flex 6. You're going to talk about the Flex 6? Probably not the best one for me, as we all know. That's the running joke between myself and Drew from Pioneer DJ, because he's always like, how can they not think you're honest? Have they seen your Flex 6 review? I was a little hard on the Flex 6, just a little bit. Okay. What's the difference between the feel of the Flex 6 and the standard Pioneer jogs like the 3000? Well, they're way different, like completely different. The Flex 6 jogs feel more like the DDJ 1000 jogs, except not as good. If that makes sense. Like they feel like them, but they don't feel like them all at the same time. So that's the difference. But yeah, the 3000 jogs are on a different level. And even if, like, again, even if I owned a pair of 3000s, I'd still rock it with an S11. I got people right now when they ask me for my rider, I'm like, S11. Like, do you want an S9 or S11? I'm like, is this a trick question? Anyway, okay. It's part of life. People need to understand you're human about your stream. Yes, I am human. I can be. I very much am. So here's the thing. Like, for instance, Engine 3.0. I was supposed to do a review on that, and I still will. I got to plug in my Denon Prime Go. I got to find the battery. I still will. I was supposed to. But yesterday, as I'm talking to clients all day, taking my kid to dance, we just got a new office, so preparing for that. I'm the chef of my family, so sorry, this little red line's driving me crazy. There we go. I'm the chef of my family, so I cook dinner, and I decided, you can get into a rut where you're kind of cooking the same thing over and over again. Your family doesn't say anything, but they may make comments. What are we having today? This? I bet you we're having this. I'm like, you know what? F off. All of you can F off. So I opted to make something different yesterday. Took a little longer. And then, I sat on the couch. I am a Gordon Ramsay fan. Like, I watch all of his chef shows, all of them. I watch the old ones. When the season for like this this year stops, I go watch some of the old seasons to kind of supplement supplement everything. I'm just a big fan. Anyway, I was watching season 18 of Hell's Kitchen. My wife doesn't like that show. She likes the European cooking shows that like never get mad at anybody. Like they can have the worst food, and you're like, it's not that bad. You're like, oh my god, and the music's it's just bad. Anyway, so we're sitting on the couch. She was watching the show, and life, man, life. Sometimes life gets in the way. That's ultimately what I'm saying. And I could have said, you know what, I'm gonna go back into my office. I'm gonna go work on some stuff. I'll see you at 3 a.m. Like, not today. I can do an Engine 3.0 review tomorrow, and it'll be just fine. So that's where I am. But I will tell you, lots and lots of B-roll shots are going to be happening soon. There's a number of things that are on their way out. A number of things. Anyway. Okay. PV says, how are you liking your new QSC system? Well, that is a very good question. Hold on. Before I answer that question, I do have to plug in this Denon Prime Go. So give me a second here. Well, this is annoying. I cannot find my plug at the moment. So, the off switch. Too many cords. It has a proprietary cord. So that's a problem. I know I can use my PC computer cord. That has the same cord. Now I just have to find my PC cord. Oh, wait, it's over there. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. Reboot into firmware. Yes. Okay, anyway. So while we're doing that, I will answer some more questions. Let's see here. What do you like about that? I answered that one. Okay. Back to the questions. Seeing a lot of DJs putting the JBL PRX 800s on sale since JBL dropped the 900. I'm thinking about grabbing some 18-inch subs. Are the 800 series trash? Absolutely not. My opinion here, though, is I love the 828. Love the 828. That's the dual cabinet speaker. Love it. I'm not the biggest fan of the 818s. They work, they sound fine, but I don't know. I've never really loved the way they sound. They sound good though, but they're not as good as the 828s and they're nowhere near the 900s, which is why I opted for the QSCs when we needed to get another system because we're growing, so we need to replace some old systems. So that's my only issue with the 818s. There's nothing wrong with them. They're good, but I wish they were a little better. The QSCs. Back to the QSCs. So my only issue with the QSCs so far doesn't really have anything to do. It's not QSC's fault. But again, dropped frames. My internet has been so bad lately. Here's my issue. I have a specific sound in my ear that I need to hear. And I'm going to have to tweak the QSC to get it to that point. So that means I'm going to have to make some edits to the parametric EQ to get it to where I need to go. I feel like I'm slow here. Let me drop that down. That's better. So I didn't. There was a problem when I tested it out because I tested it with another product that's coming out. And when I test it with another product, sometimes you don't really know that the sound that's coming out, or you don't know the microphone preamps or any of those things. So there was a lot of tweaking that was happening, and I was trying to figure out where the root cause of my annoyance was, because it wasn't a big annoyance, but it was a big enough annoyance that I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. So, the subs, fantastic. The highs, they are a little more. The highs are gonna require more EQing than out of the box, is what I would say. There's just a little more tweaking that needs to be done, and I'll do it. It's not a big deal. But as far as the sound is concerned, we were in a humongous room. Those 118s totally held their own, and so did the highs. But my problem with the highs wasn't specifically the highs' fault, but it was the piece of gear that I was using that was causing me frustration. That was the problem for me. So when people ask, well, what'd you think about them? I have been answering this. I haven't been answering because I don't think it's fair to answer right now. I think I needed another couple of weeks. This week that's coming up right now, I'm not even using my system. The venue is bringing in, or the party plan is bringing in their own sound and lighting. So I won't be able to use them again until the following week. Following week, I'll be back to normal, and then I can truly test and go from there. Engine DJ software. I'm just downloading some stuff. We're going to download for Mac. And why is it going there? And then for Prime Go. I really do have to keep another Prime here. Come on, open up. Because as much as I love my Prime Go, I think I need a slightly bigger everything. when I'm testing. Continue downloading. Yes, I got it. Move on. Okay. We'll let those things download, and then we will. All right, engine release is good, and we'll pop this up on the screen in a minute. All right, there we go. Okay. Back to the questions. A9 makes more sense in a permanent nightclub. Agreed 100%. Okay, here we go. Any recommendations for home DJ speakers? I'm a home DJ and want great sound. I have a nice sized room, converted home garage. I've done some research, but looking what DJ recommends. I think that's simple. I think you can get yourself any, couple of highs. That's the good thing about being in a house. You don't really need the subs. So if you get yourself some some quality, in all honesty, pretty much any speaker, like my Mackie Thump Goes, will sound good in a house. Ouch, I just bit my lip. In a house, they'll sound good in a house. It's only when you lack walls do you have problems with just highs and you need a sub. But honestly, I don't have an opinion. Any of them will be good. You get yourself a pair of Eons, they're going to be good. Or, I mean, it's really up to you. But you won't need much for a house. Okay. I'm bringing my Prime Go to any venue that doesn't have a setup installed. Might get some looks, but I'll still rock the room with it. I get that. And it's just, I have my limits. Now, of course, now that it allows you to use, Virtual DJ, things do change a little bit. So it does make it a little better, but when it's all said and done, you're still rocking, one of these 2-inch jogs. But it does serve a purpose. All right, let's update. Let's update this Prime Go. Start update. Prime Go is not detected. Of course not. All right, and while we're doing this, Prime Go is still not detected. Why not? Huh. I have found that every so often, some of these older pieces of hardware don't like USB-C. Like, it took forever for my phases to finally accept the fact that I was using USB-C. I could never update with USB-C. It always had to be USB A every time. Which means sometimes I have to go USB, which is what I'm going to do. So and you see why things take time, because every little thing can go wrong, every little thing can happen, and then you end up wasting people's time. Okay, I watched GT a few months ago. Now, as a new DJ, I've learned more here than others' live feed. Hey, thank you, Sobra. Appreciate that. Still love my Prime 4. It's come a long way in terms of features. Just updated to 3.0 this morning. Yep. I knew something looked different. CD Chains, how he has this stuff on his desk. Well, it's a brand new desk, much larger. Elaborate on your reel from yesterday about battery powered stuff. Yeah, Ruben. I mean, I don't know that it really requires too much updating. I have several pieces of battery powered stuff. It's all out there. I mean, I have my Mackie Thump Goes, which are great. Are they the best? No. I mean, I know somebody was asking about the EVs on my page yesterday, and I know the EVs are better. I know this, but the EVs are also twice as much. So you get to a point where you have to say, dollar for dollar, buck for buck, and what your intentions are on said speaker. Because I know a lot of people, Rachel's a perfect example. Rachel uses the EV, and she loves it, and she's like, oh, it's in a completely different class than the Mackie Thumb Go. Like it's just completely different and completely better. Okay, it better be, because you're paying twice as much. So I get that. But the question for myself, not necessarily for Rachel or for anybody else, for me, is in what case do I need my speakers to sound, twice as good? Just because if I'm only using these speakers for cocktail or as a cocktail and then monitor for DJing, why do I need to spend that much money? Now, obviously in a pinch, if it's all battery and you need that and you need the best possible sound, of course, it makes perfect sense to go with something like the EV. But if it's only used for, cocktail and a monitor, then those Mackie Thumb Goes will do the job. So, I got the Mackie Thumb Goes. I also have my X5s, which are the X5 U3s. I have 2 sets of those. And I have typically my Denon Prime Go. I didn't have my Prime Go with me that day because it was a school party, and their budget was nothing. And I was already bringing a whole bunch of crap, and I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm over it. So I didn't bring it. And it wasn't charged, as you can see that I'm charging it right now. It wasn't charged. So I'm just like, what's the point of bringing it if it's not charged? Because if it's not charged, then it's not going to really serve a purpose if I take it with me anyway. So I might as well just leave it home. So, so when that happened, it kind of, put me in a situation. So when the power went out, obviously we had, it was a blacklight show. So it was already supposed to be dark, and it wasn't even supposed to be the situation where I had uplights. We were originally supposed to bring 2 sets of blacklight poles. All right. So 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, that kind of bled into the back. Then, because we're in the process of moving, I go to the warehouse to grab the black lights, and there's only 1 set there, and nobody can tell me where the other set is, because that's how the world works. So what I ended up doing was, I'm like, look, I already told them I would be bringing 2 sets. I don't have 2 sets, so I'm going to bring the 1 set, and then I'm going to take all of my Chauvet Freedom Par hexes and put those and set those to UV, and I'll bring like 12 of those, and I'll set those around the room, and it should be enough to kind of like, they won't notice because it's a school. So, so I did that, and originally I brought my QSCs, and it was pouring. I mean, torrential downpour. It's the first time I'm using my speakers, and I got a Rain 4 that I'm taking with me to use that. I got no cover for it because it's too big. I have no case that'll fit it. And so I got it literally in a trash bag as I'm going through this monsoon. We set everything up, and we're doing a sound check. And what happens? Bam, pop a circuit immediately. Like, that's right. It's a stupid multi-purpose room. These things typically don't have enough power. So I had to rewire it and spread out the power because it was just taking too much. We're going for about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. We're starting to DJ. I'm DJing, but also just kind of making sure everything is working properly. People are coming in. Finally, it's raining. I'm surprised at how many people came because it was like 300 people. I did not expect people to come out, but they all came out, and they all started showing up, and then power out, gone, nothing. First, I thought it was me because I'd already popped the circuit. So I'm just like, oh, I must have popped another circuit. Hey guys, power is out. You guys, where's your maintenance guy? He needs to pop the circuit. And then I'm looking around. I'm looking in the back of the room where the entrance is, and I'm like, there's no light over there either. I look at my photo booth, I'm like, oh, that light's out too. So then I realized it was out. Now, again, battery powered stuff. My photo booth, iPad booth, pre-charged. We had a light up, just a normal battery powered light, so you could still take pictures. We had cellular service, so you could still send out the pictures to the people. It was just me that was down. So ran out real quick, grabbed my Thumb Goes. I was gonna grab my Thumb Go anyway because the speakers were way too low for where I was. Like they were too far away from me, so I was already gonna get acoustic problems. So I was gonna grab it anyway. But I'm like, I'll grab it in a little bit once the once we get completely situated. Power goes out. I run out, get that. My X5s were always in my bag. Except for the fact that the one thing I will say about the X5s, the one thing, and I will show you what they look like. I know you've seen them, but there's a specific thing I want to show you, which is why I'm going to be investing in one more thing. So hold on. Okay. All right. So, these are the U3s. Now, it's a perfect example. So, here are the U3s, and there you go. Now, you see these switches right here on top? Well, one's a line switch and one's a power switch, which is fine. For whatever reason, the power switch is backwards on both of these. So for one of them, you have to like put it to where it says power, and then the other one you have to flip it away from the power, and then it turns on. I don't know why. It's just I think it's a screen printing issue. If these guys are in your bag on their own, and I normally see this one's on, and I normally just kind of do something like this, so I can keep them together. But if these are in your bag, they are totally susceptible to something hitting them and turning the switch on. These are not hard switches, so they pop on, and every so often, you'll get out of them. You'll go grab them, and then they'll be dead. So, so basically, I have two sets of these. So one set worked, but that's not really here nor there. I knew that my Mackie Thumb Go could last like 8 to 10 hours. I hadn't charged it since the last party, but I'm like, it's going to be fine. So the Mackie Thumb Go had no issue. My X5s, I was a little more concerned with because I know that I hadn't made a point to really charge those. They were just in there. So there was that. And then the Bluetooth Serato, not very complicated. Everybody kind of made a big deal about the Bluetooth, but I guess I will show you what the Bluetooth looks like. All right. Open up Serato. And let me download the USB updater for the Denon Prime Go here. And go via USB. This is the life that we live. Since it won't see my updater, we'll go with the manual approach. Okay. And okay. Serato. So when I basically said send Serato via Bluetooth, I was more referring to the Mac over Serato, but you do need Serato to be able to. You have to turn something on for Serato in order for it to work. So, oh, come on. Why don't you like me today? I can see it on the screen. There we go. Okay. All right. So first off, it's probably not going to work to perfection because my Tascam, my Mixcast, every so often it won't do it until I reset the Mixcast. So, but this is what I'm saying here. Yeah. So let me do this real quick. We're going to go on mute for a second. So I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the S9 per se. So I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know. Maybe it was just me thinking about the set or me consuming all those shots. Or me consuming all those shots. Hold on one moment. Hey, future me, what are you doing? I'm editing your videos. What else would I be doing? No. I get that. Why are you using virtual DJ samples? Well, you said that you would never use the virtual DJ samples. So I put them in to show VDJ users that we care. See? I'm helping you out. You know you're probably going to piss them off again. No. We're cool. I'm on the forums. I got a username. I got a password and everything. I'm a part of the community. And when you're a part of the community, you can make jokes, you know, because we're all just having fun. That's what we do. It's what we do. And it's kind of like being black. Because you know when you're black, you can say, hey, come on, man. Trying to get me demonetized? Why are you being so stupid? Well, considering you from the past, if I'm stupid, I got it from you. Whatever. Yeah, whatever, back at you. Why don't you go say something smart on the camera, smart brother? Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. Back to what I was saying before. Let me make sure that it's in there. Okay, good. All right. Demo. All right. So, first things first. In your audio stream, well, we don't care about that since we're not plugged into anything. But we're going to go up here to Bluetooth, where your audio is. Make sure that you are obviously linked up via Bluetooth. But if you're not, you need to go down to Bluetooth and then pair the Thumb Go. See, there's a Thumb Go right here. Then, once you pair it, you go into your sound, and whatever you've paired should be there. So we're doing the Mixcast right here. And after that, where are you? Here we go. After that, we can load this up and start playing. Now, the problem is, the hardest part of any of this, is DJing with it, because there is a noticeable delay, like extreme delay. a beat that works. That's gonna have to work. All right. So if I'm hitting, you know, this button right here, it's hard to find. It's hard to find where that thing is. So I ended up doing a lot more kind of just stop and start type things because of the delay. The delay is severe. It is absolutely severe. But you can definitely play. You can definitely mix. What I didn't test, in all honesty, was whether or not you could plug in your earphones and actually hear them without it turning off the Bluetooth. I didn't want to plug them in because I didn't want it to screw anything up. But let's check it out. See? And there you go. I'm glad I didn't plug it in. Okay. So there's that. In a pinch. Should you DJ? With it? Hell no. Hell no. But in a pinch, if you have to, if you're far away for whatever reason, yes. If not, obviously, you know, XLR, not XLR, but wireless Wi-Fi is definitely going to work better. Okay, let me plug this guy in and just do my updater. Let's see here. New firmware available. Ignore. Found 3.0. There we go. How do you want to update? USB. Okay. We are updating now. All right. So while that is updating, let's answer some more questions. Priyan Joni in the building. What's going on, fam? We're having a bad morning today. It's not bad, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Carl Johnson says, how are those LD ICOA speakers? I don't know. I don't have any. Ask Solstice. DJ Solstice has them. Ask ask Nick Spinelli. He loves to talk about ICOA speakers. Okay. So do you still use the XMG laptop? Only at the house. If I'm doing demos or something like that, but I don't take it out with me because my MacBook Pro is, I've said it already, but it's the best computer I've ever owned. This M1 Pro MacBook Pro. Okay. Let's see here. If you have a controller without stems, would you get a new controller that has stems built in? Don Rafa asked. That is actually a very good question. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the, hold on. First off, I should probably hit record on this guy. I might say some stuff that I want to use later on. Okay. To answer Don Rafa's question, this is probably going to be the number one question that most people have, especially considering all the things that have popped up in the world, you know, whether it be visually or physically. People are going to ask this question, you know, should I just remap my buttons, or should I use, see this thing? This light is dying right now. Absolutely dying. But should I remap my buttons or buy one that has dedicated? This is what I will say. And I mean this, honestly. Because I truly believe that in order for stems to really be effective, having access to them at any point in time is very, very important. All right. What I mean by that is I don't want to have to hit a secondary page or a pad mode to get to my buttons, knowing that I still need access to my cue points or my loop rolls or whatever. That's another thing. I like my loop rolls. I don't like replacing my loop rolls. I use my sampler. I don't like replacing my sampler. So you're going to lose something, in the changeover. But for me, the most important part is having access all the time. If I want to remove that bass real quick, or remove that echo, or more importantly, like, let's say this is for me, working DJ, doing mobile events, I use that thing in a couple of different ways by default. By default, one, I'm DJing, the MC gets on the microphone, needs to make some announcements, needs to make something that people need to hear, but I don't have to stop the music to get to it. Well, I can now just mute out the vocals and problem solved. He or she can talk, and right when they're done, hit the vocals back on. We're good to go. That's one way. Two ways. Now, in some respects, when I have a song that is questionable, maybe it's clean, but maybe it's not clean or whatever, instead of hitting the reverse function, the censor button, now I can hit basically the mute button and mute out that thing. So now there's not even a indication that there was a bad word there. So there's a lot of little things like that where access all the time is very, very important. So for me specifically, it doesn't have to be dedicated. Look, the Rev 7 came out before stems came out, but because of those upper buttons, I have mapped all of those buttons to my stems. Problem solved for me. That's all I needed. I'm good. I don't need anything else. But I think that you need to have them exposed. I do. I know a lot of people have been seeing things online and they're like, "Oh, good. More buttons I won't use." Shut up. I mean, don't complain to complain. If there are more buttons you won't use, you weren't going to use them anyway. Shut up. Just shut up. Move on. For everybody else, I think button placement's going to be important. What those buttons do are going to be important. And for the most part, I think everybody's nailing it. So I'm not really worried about that part. But, I think they need to be exposed. That's just an opinion, though. I see people all the time, that are literally like going in and paging, and then they page to their sampler. They page all this stuff. And I'm just like, perfect example. I have a friend, DJ in a club. I went to go see him after one of my events. And he's rocking an S11 at this club. He goes to his, he needs to throw his samples in. So he throws the samples in, all the time. He's going to pad mode, hitting the sampler, going back to his cue points, doing his tricks, because he's like a performance DJ. So he needs access to everything. I kept watching him. Then at a certain point I stopped. I'm just like, hey man, why don't you just use the keyboard on the MacBook for your samples instead of going through all these pages? Especially since you're accessing them so much. And he basically said, oh, well, I have to hold shift down and do all this stuff. I'm like, you don't have to hold shift down. Just change the setting. He didn't know that. A lot of DJs don't know their software. That's the one thing that I do know. A lot of DJs do not know what their software can do. Okay, let me just slide this thing over here. Okay. All right, DJ Reese, QSC 1201. Did you use the dance preset? I did use the dance preset. Again, it wasn't specifically the QSC that was the issue. So this is why I haven't done a real review. This is why, because I know for a fact that there were so many variables involved that it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be right. It would not be right to do a review on something when there were definite other causes for it. So I will test it again under normal circumstances, like using what I normally use, and then go from there. Because what I want to avoid having to do is have to bring a mixer. I'll bring a mixer because I want to bring a mixer, but I don't want to have to bring a mixer. I've never had to bring a mixer on any speaker system that I've ever owned. Also, the person that I referred to QSC was using a DJI 1000 at the wedding I saw. They sounded great. So I know that it had probably had to do with the combination of things that I was using, which is why I have not said anything about that. Anyway, okay. Wireless charger helps. Absolutely. Hey, sweetie. Have you heard of, looked at ska audio from Dillinger Labs? I have not. On the QSC, did you apply the crossover setting to 100 hertz to optimize? Yes, I did. Like I said, wasn't the QSC. I'm pretty good. Before I did this, I was an actual an audio engineer. So frequencies are my jam. Hold on. Can I help you? What do you need? I know your mom is in the other side. You know you can talk to her. Okay, we'll talk to her again. Go. I'm on my show. Go. Your fan was on full blast and it was 30 degrees. Okay, I gotta go. Talk to your mom. Bye. What camera are you using to broadcast this stream? Well, the camera is just one part. Broadcast is through OBS, but I'm using a Sony A7 IV for that. Okay. Audio One in the building. What's going on, fam? Okay, let's see here. I'm just going through. Does a controller like the Ref 7 that has instant scratch do a good job of mapping stems? Yep. I just talked about that. Absolutely. Which is why I don't have a need to upgrade, honestly. If I do, I do. But like in general, I don't know, man. I just, people want to talk. I don't know. I just feel like for me, the Rev 7 is pretty much a perfect device. I'm shocked when DJs are like, it's not really for me. I don't really like it. Especially, I'm not talking controller DJs, because obviously, or like people that use, strictly CDJs and 900s. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, if you are a turntable guy, I am really hard pressed to figure out why people have issues with it. It really is one of the best controllers out there. Okay. All right, Matt Ames, from a DJ Pro for Mac user who's been on Neuromix stems for a while now, and even having the knobs for it on the Reloop Buddy, it's a game changer having controller access, dedicated or not. Yeah. This is what I will say, and I truly believe this. And I've said this, and I won't change my thoughts on this, but you are less likely to use said pads if it requires more than like a step or two, right? If you have to go pad mode, pad this, that, and now you're hitting the cue points, and now you got to go back to pad mode and then flip it off. It's a lot more work. People will be less likely to use it. If it's easy to get to, it'll be better. Perfect example, the S11 with their deck move, and all that. Great idea. Problem was too hard to get to. So because it was so hard to get to, people just don't use it as much, even though it's a great feature. Also, perfect example, S11, Silent Q. Silent Q is 3 pages into the screen. Too many pages to get to Silent Q. Too many pages. So I rarely use Silent Q on my S11 because of that. Too many steps. Very important for me. Now, everybody can be different. I get it. Do what you gotta do. But for me, steps are important. Okay. How do you feel about DJ schools? I feel DJ schools are good. I don't have an opinion about it. That's like saying, how do you feel about driving schools? Well, if you want to learn how to drive, you got to go to driving school. I think the same thing applies to DJing or any trade you want to get into. It's gonna require you to do the work. And if you don't go to a DJ school, that means you have a mentor. And a mentor is essentially a DJ school. Now, maybe that mentor is free, which is always great. And especially if that mentor is really, really good. then you're gonna get, you're gonna get the best as an apprentice. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with DJ schools. I know fundamentals are things that don't get taught enough, and I've seen it from DJs that are really good that don't know fundamentals because they never learned it. They learned everything from, from the YouTubes and Instagrams and all that stuff, which is fine and dandy, but schools do serve a purpose, you know. Um, Especially if you're trying to get into more complicated stuff where you need people that can actually see what you're doing wrong and then help you. I mean, that's the whole point of school, is to be able to guide you. Like I think scratching, taking scratch classes does wonders for you. But like I've had multiple people that work for me. I have at least 3 people that work for me that all graduated from Scratch Academy. My partner was a state known MC, all across Hollywood and, LA and all that stuff. And, he was MCing and started getting frustrated with DJs, with the DJs that we were bringing on. So battery level is low. Did it come out again? Son of a bitch. So he opted. There we go. So he opted to go to Scratch Academy and learn. And in doing so, now he can DJ anywhere, and he's gotten more work because of this. So I think it's important sometimes, especially if you want to fast track it. You want to go from a place that's like, okay, I don't know anything, to I want to learn everything. Schools come in handy. Okay. I'm all in for algorithm. Had a Mixon 8 on a pre-order for months, but I'm considering Rev 7 if the mapping is smooth enough. Um, the mapping is set to the top buttons, so it's fine. Yeah, those top pad modes are it's already mapped to it. Unless sometimes I get things and I think that they're like the standard, and then I tell somebody, they're like, doesn't do that for me, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I have friends that help me. Okay, Dustin says, I love my Rev 7 minus one issue, connection issues with the Windows 11 and our Mac laptops. My other laptop, Windows 10 had no connection issues, but Windows 11 does sporadically. Now, you said Mac and Windows. I haven't had any problems with Mac with connections. My question to you is, if you are having connections, are we sure that it's not the computer? Are we sure that it's not the USB that you're using? There's a lot of little things, but who knows? Do you know if anything new is coming from Reloop and Rain, non-controller related products? Oh no. Bring this back up. Please see below, Gary. Okay. Not equipment related. Who do you like to listen to, watch lately? Been listening to James Hype and DJ Pearly. Just wanted your thoughts on who you listen to or watch. Okay. Full disclosure, I haven't had time to watch DJs. DJ Pearly is dope though. I very, very familiar with her. She's dope. James Hype is dope too. I met James at the Beyond the Music last year in Arizona. Cool guy, super cool guy. Super laid back, like more laid back than I would have expected. Yeah, but they all do great work. There's a lot of DJs out there. My favorite DJ to watch, my favorite DJs. If I do have a chance, I'm watching Scratch Bastard. I'm watching Jazzy Jeff. I'm watching Miles Medina. I'm watching DJ Puffy. I'm watching Four Color Zach. There's lots of DJs out there that are really good. Lots of DJs. Lots of DJs. Okay. New DJ here. I have the Rev 1. What are your thoughts about that? My thoughts are Rev 1 is a solid entry level controller. I mean, that's about it. If I mean, you can look at my Flex 4 review that I just put out, I think 2 weeks ago, where I mentioned the Rev 1. I think the Flex 4 or the Rev 1 are fantastic controllers, especially for entry level, and they make good backups. Uh, okay. Audio one. Speaking as an educator, I recommend DJ schools if you seek a solid foundation as a DJ, and if you're exhausted, what you've learned on your own, it will cost you money, and you have to put in work. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. James Hype's Brazilian 6-Day Festival video is very much worth watching. It can be beneficial to learn from industry experts. I agree. I even went to Scratch Academy a long time ago just to kind of enhance my scratching skills. Now, of course, I've told this story before. Didn't work out like I expected. At this point in time, I would go to Beat Junkies Academy for privates if I were to go anywhere, because I think that and they're all good, but I think, I don't know, Beat Junkie just has a better footing if you're trying to be a, I mean, they do everything, but like, I don't know, man, like their DJs are amazing. Raz1 Roy in the building, what's going on? Let's see here. Red 23. Based on your excellent videos on gear, I just did a small gig using 2 Thumb Goes and X5s for 6 hours. Not one dropout. Just wanted to share and say thank you. Appreciate that, DJ Red. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that also. Yeah, sometimes I think people want every product that comes out, every product that comes out to be perfect. And I don't think there's any perfect anything out there. I think everything has flaws. The Denon Prime Go right here, great device, has flaws. I mean, even my glorious Rev 7 has flaws. It's just that, are the flaws, big or small for you? And for me, for like the Rev 7, the flaws are super small. But I think the most important part is to understand what the gear is supposed to do, what the gear is supposed to replace, enhance, supplement. Because I think that a lot of people, when they buy a product, they think that product is supposed to do what every other product that you own is supposed to do, like at the same level. That may not be the case. So for instance, with the X5s, I get people complaining, oh, it's not long enough, 4 to 5 hours. That's not long enough for parties I do. Well, why are you doing parties that long where you expect a wireless connection to work for you? That's not what this is for. People want to take what their experience is and try to shoehorn it into what the product is. And that's not the case. Oh, the Bose. Oh, well, the Bose are fine, but oh my God, I would do the RCFs and blah, blah, blah. Well, what kind of party are you doing? And even your RCFs, there's parties that will not work for your RCFs and you're going to have to go somewhere else. So I just sit there and I say, if the product works as intended and it works within the parameters that you need it to work for, then the product works. Even if it doesn't work for you, the product works. It's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. The people with the Denon Prime Go, oh, well, it only lasts 4 to 4.5 hours. I couldn't use that on my party. Then you plug it in. After 4 hours, you may need to plug it in. But guess what? If your battery goes out, if the power goes out, your Prime Go is still working. So it's little things like that where I just sit there and say, guys, come on, just understand what the product is, understand what the product's for, and go from there. Jason Stout in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know if he likes people to know who he is, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. He's just a really, really good guy. What the Academy training online or in person training? The Academy training was in person. It was a long story. I've told this story before. The bottom line here was that I needed to do, it would have been better for me to do a one-on-one. I'd gotten to a level where group learning wasn't going to work for me. So that's why. Kwame says, what is a good interface? Depends on what you're trying to do, Kwame. Can you be more specific in what you're trying to use that interface for? Okay. Also wanted to know, based on your suggestions, I will be getting a refurbished MacBook Pro. Thank you. I tell people all the time, go to the MacBook, go to the Apple site, scroll down to the bottom. There's a little navigation that says refurbished. Click on there. You're going to get a much better deal. On the theme of speakers, would you go with the Bose or the EV50? See, this is what I'm saying. I have the Bose, so that's what I would go with. I don't think that. I think they're about one and the same. When I went to the Harvest of Sound and they did test the EVs, the 50s, and the Bose, I think that they both were equally good, but the sonic and color characteristics of each one were different. That's all. So if you understand, and I also know that they didn't really treat the Bose properly because I have the Bose, so I know how they're supposed to sound. And when they were queuing them up, I just sat there and said, this is not how they normally sound. You see, they wanted to try to make it fair across the board. So what they did was they used some pink noise, and they brought all the levels. They brought it all to a certain decibel level, dB level, which is fine. Theoretically, that actually makes sense. I get it. The problem is with Bose, and the problem is with every speaker out there. Every speaker has a sweet spot to where the levels are operating, the power, the wattage coming out of the speaker, the power, the sound, everything is operating at a specific level. In Bose's case, it's about 11 o'clock. Anything before 11, that speaker's going to sound like crap, no matter what. So they had it set to like 9 o'clock, and then they were pushing up the main mixer. That is a no-no for Bose. And I listened, I'm like, this is not how Bose sounds. And everybody that owned Bose was like, this is not how it sounds. So bottom line here is that I think you can't go wrong with either one of them. I would, without a doubt, always recommend the Bose L132s over the 16s. I don't think there's enough bass coming out of those 16s, but the EV50s are a good sounding speaker. Don't have a problem with either one of them. I don't think one is better than the other. I think they just have different sound characteristics. Okay. DJ Showcase. I don't know why certain DJs always love to critique things. Minding their own business isn't a thing nowadays because everybody thinks that their opinion matters. Look, I'm telling you, I will post something on IG. Hey, new product alert or whatever, and I'll post these things, and somebody will say, they'll say, oh, well, that doesn't do this for me, so I wouldn't go with that, or I bought something different. Like, okay, great. But this wasn't really about what you bought. This was about educating, the audience. But people have their opinions now. Everybody's an influencer. Everybody has their thing. Okay. You've seen the new Denon 3.0 update? No. Tell me about it. What does it look like? I haven't seen it. Although I haven't seen it, I haven't used it yet. So this is going to be fairly interesting. So sampler content. Am I plugged in? I am. Oh, too much. Okay, so they put the sampler content under playlist. Interesting. Now, of course, all of this stuff that we're talking about here, I have not used yet. So I am probably okay. Let's see if it's do I need to load it in? I'm gonna need to assign it. See, this is bad. This is bad teaching. This is me never touching it and then trying to like navigate through it. This is bad. Because I know there's something simple that I'm just not doing. I got to read the manual. Hey guys, you should probably read the manual. Air horn. We have contact. Because I know that it's supposed to end up on the top page. So I will mess with this and move on. But hey, we got air horn now. Preloaded sample content, but to get into sample pad, press the shift roll. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Good old shift button and roll. And then my guess is it's probably going to be assigned. Running a little hot there. Oh, look what you guys have done. You've created a monster. You know, it's funny. In all honesty, I don't really use samples. I don't use samples for anything. Even my name, I barely put in a sample for. So it's very interesting, when I get these things, because I don't use them. Just for me though. Now, the question is, these are all preloaded, which is great. Let's go back to the main page, which none of you can see at the moment, but we will get back there in a minute. Okay. And because I am not trying to get demonetized, I do want to say this. There's this little thing that I absolutely love. That thing is this one little thing right here. You see this little playlist? You see how everything is in order? Like, that is very frustrating in Serato. It would help me find a whole bunch of things if I knew things were in order. A whole bunch of things. But I can't, so that's where we are. Okay. All right, let's go back to view. And then there are my pads right here. Let's take this down a little bit. Okay. And get it out of my angle here. Swipe to load and tap a sample button on a screen or a pad. Swipe to load. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Now, the question is, so Jason, just out of curiosity, on other screens, are these buttons active? Probably not. Just curious. All right. And then let's go to bank. And now we're on the bottom bank. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right, there's the loop. There's the roll. And then shift roll. Okay. Gotcha. Easy enough. I think Jason, if I were an asking man, I would ask for these to be dual stage, so I could just click twice to get to it. One day, right? One day. Because it does it on the loop. Yeah, one day. Okay. You can upload your music straight from your computer via Wi-Fi. I know, that's amazing. So let's just open this up real quick. Let's open up this and see how easy it is. I'm a big fan of things being kind of obvious if possible. So we're gonna see if it requires me. Now I gotta make sure. Okay, I'm locked in Wi-Fi here. I'm locked in Wi-Fi here. So let's open up Engine. And this, of course, is by no means, if it doesn't work like right out of the box, easy, like with Jason's like, do this little thing. That's not an indication that it's not working properly. It's me just hoping for the best case scenario across the board. So, all right, Engine DJ. I got a lot of reds in here. Probably because I moved things around. Okay. Don't want to do that. Here's my Serato crates. All right. And as I expected, I got nothing in there. That's fine. But out of curiosity, let's go to browse. Let's go to source. And so it's not there by default. Okay. I'm sure Jason's got coming soon. I like to hear that. All right, let's just check out preferences and make sure it's not set to default device, queue position, playback, library, Apple Music on, Serato on, export via Sync Manager, sound switch export, cloud storage on, library backup. Yeah, I thought I did, but you never know. About Engine DJ 3.0, correct? Once you update your Mac software. Yeah, I don't have that source. I don't have computer as a source at the moment. So we're gonna go ahead and just exit out real quick because they are both updated. We're gonna close out. We're just gonna. So it should be on the same network, but I'm in a far off place. I'm gonna be honest with you. Where this desk is, it's like the weakest part of the house, and I know my Prime Go gets a little weird right here, specifically right here. So your link is not. Does your link? Will it allow Ethernet in the link? Just out of curiosity. I am restarting the Go, people. Okay. On Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi. There's my home Wi-Fi. All right. Continue on here. I don't care about that. All right. Let's open up Engine again. And we will make sure that we are connected to the proper Wi-Fi. Okay. Here we go. All right. Wi-Fi. BK compound. It's attempting to connect. Nobody needs to see that. Hope that was right. That's a long ass password. Okay. All right. Says we're connected. Okay. And there it is. There's my MacBook. Waiting for confirmation. Accept. Okay. And of course, because these are the only ones that I have set up, that's why they're the only ones in here. So let's just load something in here. I'm trying not to get demonetized. You ever look for a song that you know doesn't sound obvious? Please check your network. So this right here, I guarantee you, is because of the distance that I'm in. It's just struggling at the distance. I need to take this whole thing into another part of my house. I guarantee you that, because I can't even usually do like beat source on this one. So I can use Ethernet. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me do that. I know I already played this, but hey, it is what it is. I got Jason in the building. When I tell you guys that once we can do a complete shift over with Serato, the world is going to completely change. Oh, it's going to change. All right. So now I should be connected. I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi just to be on the safe side here. And let's check out a couple of different options here also. Some things that I have noticed already. Looks like we have a beat grid edit. We have sampler volume right here. Other things are the same. Lighting should still be the same, obviously. That should definitely be the same. Well, that's right. I totally forget that I can adjust my nano leafs. Like so. Enable. Cool. Okay. Let's go back. Select the data source. Look at all this new stuff that's in here. Let me get out of here. Okay. Wi-Fi connected. Let's turn it off. All right, now let's try the same thing we just did a minute ago. Beat it. Load, track load, download to fail. Is it me? Am I the problem? Is it this computer over here? I have a lot of reds in here though. I got to resync this whole network. Whole network needs to be resynced. Yep, it's my fault. All these files are red. I have to resync the whole thing and then resync my collection. Let me find something that does work. Yeah, this is on me. So I got to do a resync. I guess I can do it right now. We'll do that right now too. Sync manager. My favorite thing, the sync manager. All right, we'll just do check 1, 2, export. Sync to Engine DJ. Okay. Okay. So we will work on that in a little while. Because there's still some things that I need to do on the engine in the engine DJ side. Mojack's in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. Obviously, if you really want to know about Engine 3.0 right now, you can check out Mojack's video that he just released. I'm sure it's I haven't looked at it yet because I try to avoid videos that I still have to do myself because I don't want it to end up being like a carbon copy, even though it can't because Mojack's is Mojack's and I am me, but still. But I'm sure. Yeah, download failed. I'm sure that it's very thorough. So please check that out. It's probably about what, 85 minutes, Mojack's? Yeah. See, and the same thing. When people were asking me specifically about the A9 and like, well, are you going to do it? I'm like, no, I don't really need to do a review on the A9. It's not really it's not a mixer for me. It's not even something that I would use. It's not even something that I would, for the most part, even take out. Like I said, I rarely use the 900s. Maybe larger clubs had 900s, but for the most part, most clubs have shrank down. They've gone not shrink down, but they've chosen to use S11s. So yeah, I rarely see them, or they're using a controller. So I rarely see them. Anyway, try disconnecting the Go from your computer and the source screen, and then reconnect. I will do that. So, but again, I'm seeing everything's in red. So I got to resync this whole thing first in order to get it to be proper. Music volumes. Yeah, everything is in red. Ever since streaming came to the Prime Go, all my master files, I kind of just only kept a couple. Okay. Mojack's has the. I'm sure that Queso's probably talking some trash right now. There's a thing. Mojack's has the clam and informative voice on his reviews. So what I interpret that to mean, Queso, is that my voice is not informative. That's what I hear when you say that. And to think we were friends once. Yeah. So again, this is one of those reasons why I when my video does come out, it won't have anything about those reds because I won't even do the video unless everything is operating effectively. Straight Ethernet. Guys, I have Ethernet. Chris Roman's in the building. Are you guys all just sitting around with your computers just laughing at me right now? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. No, so here's the thing. I actually have I have a splitter right here and I have Ethernet. I haven't wired up my Ethernet yet. Because I'm going to wire it all up so I have multiple Ethernets for my computer, for things like the Prime Go. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Interestingly enough, I'd never even realized that that Din and DJ did Ethernet. I saw the link Ethernet in there, but I didn't know that it would accept data. So how How a misspelling throws the whole stream off. Is something misspelled? Ah, son of a bitch. You guys are brutal today. Brutal. You know what's funny? Nobody said anything the entire time. Mojax comes on and his little attention to detail eyeballs pop up. Next thing you know, everybody's talking trash. I got Prion Joni in the building. I got Mojax. I got Chris Roman. I got Jason Stout. All haters. All of you. I still have a review to do, you know. I'm kidding. I got this light back here that's like all of a sudden Fright Night. You meant calm. Oh, calm and clam. Calm. Clam. I can be calm. I can be calm too. Hello. No, that's the only thing I ever do, by the way. The hello is the only thing. Okay. Oh, Matthew says that's full IO. Yeah, I think I have the entire In Music staff checking it out. But the good news is when the video comes out, it's going to be very, very thorough. All of these things I'm doing like off the top of my head without reading a manual, that's not something I would normally do on the review. I would pull all that stuff. This was kind of a ad hoc. Let's see how easy it is to just kind of pull that in here. Mojax has clam raises. Oh God. So anyway, so today, specifically today, there will be a video that will go up, not this one, about Engine 3.0. This is a good month for DJ equipment, just in general. It's a very, very good month. It's good for the consumer, you guys. It's good for everybody. So I think we're just in a good place right now. But as Mojax will attest, it's incredibly hectic. There's so much stuff. So we're just trying to keep afloat. They really took advantage of us. We went months without anything from anyone. Like we get a morsel here and there. And then all of a sudden they just drop the entire food bank on us. And they're like, eat it all. All at the same time. Yeah, I have to read the manuals. You know, that's the only way it works. Especially I find that anytime you are kind of putting in software in something that has a pre-established hardware, then you really do have to read the manual because you've obviously had to do some tricks to get it to work on every single device. So you got to read the manual. You know, if it's a new device, a lot of times because it's designed for it. For instance, you know, the Rain 4. You know, the Rain 4 stems are designed for it. So it's not as complicated to kind of figure out, oh, if I hit this button, this is going to happen. If I do this, this is going to happen. Like you can kind of work your way through it. But anytime you have an older product that you're making work, that's when the manual is like a godsend. Okay. NAMM is still 2 months away. Exactly. It's a good year for DJs. Good year. Okay. Let's see. I see you posted the Ref 7 in gold. However, I saw you using the Rain 4 after using one. Which one would you recommend? I'm in need of two USB controllers. So the review for the Rain 4 is not out yet. So it would not be a fair assessment to say anything about any of the products. You guys know how I feel about the Ref 7. I've done videos on it. But the Rain 4's release has not been set yet. So once that happens, you will get my honest opinion on the Rain 4. I will tell you right now, I managed to use the Rain 4 without issue on my event. And so far, positive reaction. But I need to do some more work with it. I need to do some more thorough investigation. And then I will give my honest opinion on it. So once things are truly released, I can then give you, you know, that kind of opinion, but I won't give an opinion on something that hasn't been released yet. Okay. Matthew, what are the chances that vendors are going to have show discounts this spring? We'll have a wallet ready if the prices are good. Well, if we're talking about if we're talking about like the expos and things like that, uh, there's always discounts typically at those trade shows. So if you go to DJ Expo, if you go to I mean even the last one, which was Mobile Entertainment Expo, they don't do them at NAM. NAM is strictly for retailers. So for us, it's just us being there and enjoying the vibe. But there are no discounts at NAM unless you are a retailer. If this is what we're talking about anyway. No questions about new gear. What? How about since the A9 is out there, there are a bunch of used 900 mixers for sale. What piece of equipment you think might we see for sale next? You, that's tricky. You, that was impressive, Lionel. But you're not going to get me. No, no, no. But a very good question. Very good. Okay. Let me see if there's any more questions I can answer. Because I do have another call with another person in about 20 minutes. So I need to get ready for that. Let's see here. Oh, I don't want to miss any more questions. Samuel Patterson, I'm sure you know this, but wireless mesh systems are the best thing. Wi-Fi dead. So I'm sure you don't know this, but I have a mesh system in my house. The problem was I had one of my meshes never. The problem with mesh systems is that your devices, from my experience, sometimes don't like the mesh router that's sitting right next to it. And no matter how much you try to force it onto it, it's going to go for the one that it deems is a stronger signal, because mesh systems are algorithm. They're algorithm based. So the system is deciding where you should connect based upon power consumption or power output. Sometimes, for whatever reason, the one that was sitting like in my office, all of my stuff would jump it and go to the one that was in the middle of the house. So mesh systems are good until they're not. What I have here now is I have a pseudo wired system. I'm going basically power bridge through my electrical outlet into the house. So the OBS is wired. I have a wired Ethernet for my computer, but I only have one right now. I got to run another wired so I can do things like make sure that this has it and this has it and go on and so forth. So that's it. I'm very aware of mesh. Very aware. Okay. But I think the most important part of Denon, of this update, well, two things. I think that being able to connect to your computer, technically speaking, from anywhere in your house, it can just sit there, or from anywhere on an established Wi-Fi connection. I think that's huge. That would be amazing if they could find a way to. Well, they have. Also, I think that the much needed, even though I don't use it, sampler is just as important. I just stick a Cat 6 into my phone. Yeah, you could do that too. I have USB. I have a USB Ethernet adapter. Right now I only have one plugged in. I guess I could have plugged in another Ethernet if I wanted to be that guy, but I don't. Okay. Matthew says, yeah, Midwest Live especially. Might hit up Marquee. Haven't been to Marquee yet. I haven't been to Marquee or Midwest Live or what I call is Bougie Extreme, which is what's the Jason Jedi one? I can't think of the name right now, but the one that's amazing, but it's like champagne and caviar. Like, I don't know that they can ever top the DJ lineup that they had last year. It was insane, absolutely insane. So, but at some point, I will go to one of them when I take out I got to choose between paying off my daughter's student loans or going to that conference. I'm not really sure yet. I kid. Okay. I had mesh, got rid of it. Strategic placement of a single router is crushing. Fair enough. I was gonna literally wire up the entire house, but for when I learned this is once I went up into the attic, my attic is literally like a crawl space. I'm not going up there. So this is my option here. Okay. Let's see here. My mesh system sucks. We know about that, Mojax. We know about you and your British Wi-Fi. I think you might actually be using my Wi-Fi sometimes. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? Lionel says that Denon sampler function has seriously made me consider switching to the Massive Prime 4 SE6000s with my S11. Sure. What else you need at this point? I mean, a lot of people, sampler is the only thing. In all honesty, sampler people love. I'm not a sampler user, but I know that was the biggest thing for people. So I'm glad that it's there. I mean, that was a big thing. In all honesty, I'm trying to think about the other things that it could have on here. That was a huge thing. And now it's got the wireless computer where you can sync up. You can put your computer to the other side. I don't know, man. I'm sure as I go, more things will pop up. But right now, I think that was a very, very useful update, and it's gonna help a lot of people. I thought you were asking if we heard the baseballs in prison. Baseballs moved. They were in LA and then they moved back to Texas. So I'm actually kind of sad about that because I did want to test out the baseball speakers. Um, Here's the thing, just so people understand. So I bought the QSC system, but it's not the only system. It's not the only system for me. We needed another system for the studio. So when I bought that one, I pushed my SRX system to the office. But we still need one more system. So as I continue to use this system, it may or may not be the one I end up with. We'll have to see. It may or may not be. I'm very happy with the subs, but the highs, I don't know. We'll see. I might end up going with I mean, in all honesty, the Pioneer DJ XPRS, those 12s are very good. So who knows? We'll have to see. It's like a horror show in my office right now. This strobe. The only good news is it's not strobing nearly as much as I see it strobing. That's the only good news because of my frame rate on my computer. Okay. Jason says we got more coming. I wouldn't doubt it. So the one thing I will say about Denon, the one thing I will say, DJ Collective, thank you, Audio One. The one thing I will say is that the amount of work they put into their legacy hardware is one of the reasons that I tell people all the time that Denon is the team to beat as far as software is concerned. If you were concerned about getting hardware and you're like, I want to make sure that it works in the next 3 to 5 years, you can pretty much be sure with a Denon DJ. You can pretty much be sure. Like I said, the fact that I thought the Denon Prime Go, I thought it was gone. I thought everything was there and it had gotten all the things that it needed. And then they update, and next thing you know, you got engine lighting. Fantastic. And then they update again, and now you got a sampler. They update again, and you got virtual DJ in the box. All of these little things are things that were not in the system, things that I would never have expected to come to the system, but they have found a way to do so. The only thing that it doesn't still do, and it can't do, is EQ my microphone. Prime Go 2.0, I guess. Anyway, Jay Book in the building. Make sure you guys are following Jay Book. Jay Book will have his show on at about, I believe it's 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Great show. It's about an hour's worth of jam-packed information. I think it's 3 p.m. It could be 4 p.m. So I don't want to get in trouble. But it's right around there. Make sure you guys are following Jay Book on both YouTube and Twitch. I believe he dual streams to both of them. Make sure you check him out. Okay. They're the best in the industry in that regard, and saying how much support they put in. Agreed. Uh, do they really sound like how people claim to Daddy DJ? Yes, we have an event every year for DJs. DJ's Day Out in Atlanta. That is dope. The sound for last year, and I think they were before was Bass Boss. So here's the thing. Yes, Bass Boss is extremely expensive. I will say this. This is just my opinion. I love the sound coming out of their bass cabinets. Bass Boss. That's the name. Makes sense. I don't love the sound coming out of their highs. I think that the highs need work. I don't love the frequencies that are coming out. It sounds harsh to me and sterile. But their bass, I don't think there's anything better out there for in any size sub. Honestly, their kind of claim to fame is basically that the sub. Let's say you go get a 12. That 12 is going to sound as good as everybody else's 15, and their 15 is going to sound as good as everybody else's 18. So you can get a smaller cabinet and put out the same output and, smaller footprint. Now, I don't love their design language. I don't love their design language on their gear. I don't know. I feel like there could be I think they need to bring like Johnny Ives in. Queso says the one thing that bothers me, no talkover on the go. Yeah, I guess that's an issue. I've never really had an issue about talkover. Because I just turn down the volume. But look, everybody's there. I rarely use talkover, in all honesty. Just in general. Like if I'm working an event, I like to be able to control how the music is, where it sounds like. Because if you're always using a talkover, for me, and you're DJing like a club or a party or whatever, that music's going to drop down and now it's going to impact your dance floor. So I would rather manually control when I need to take it out versus it kind of being on as a default. Is it their porting? I don't know, man. Matthew, I don't know. It could be it's definitely, the wood that they're using. It's definitely I don't know. They have some magic juice in there because what they can have coming out of those speakers doesn't physically make sense. Like just in general, we're talking science, physical, just specs, the specifications. It doesn't make sense how much bass is coming out of those things. But I don't know. Whatever they do it very well. Cole World says talkover is terrible. Some are better than others, in all honesty. And you can adjust how the talkover works, but like for me, I don't know. It always sounded unnatural for me. Okay. I was parked about 150 yards and I heard the event before I got out the car. All right. Is there? Let's see. One damn thing. Talkover, right? They don't look that good. Okay. Anyway, my whole thing is I do need my speakers to look good. I deal with a lot of high end vendors, and you guys know if you're dealing with high end vendors and party planners, they don't even like your speakers being there. So then, if you factor in that they're ugly, you're gonna have some pretty annoyed things. For instance, like. And I know that Bass Boss has now, you can change the exterior box because they have one that looks like, first off, they have one that looks like a diamond, or nobody wants to see a diamond speaker. No, nobody wants to see that. I don't care what you say. I know you're thinking outside the box, literally thinking outside the box, but nobody wants to see that. Then they have their 12, which actually sounds better, but then it has like the red on there. I know you can change that. But why even put that on there? Why put red trim on your stuff? Why? Speakers are designed, they're supposed to be, out of the way. You're not supposed to be noticing them, except when you hear them and feel them. But I don't know, man. Could it be possible that they would add Serato after they added stems? Future Serato possibility. Anyone, what could they possibly add to Serato after they add stems? Oh, I see. Well, I can tell you this really easily. Serato needs a major library update. So until they update their library, we're still in desperate need of things. Um, Stems a stopgap. Because when all these other stems things, algorithm DJ, virtual DJ, they didn't have a choice. They had to come out with stems. And maybe one day, maybe we'll see Denon DJ. We'll see some engine OS with some stems. Maybe. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Library management is trash on Serato. Everything about Serato's library management needs work. Like everything. And I'm a Serato DJ fan. I will default to Serato DJ every opportunity. But that's a problem. And they know it. So it's not like I'm saying something that is completely hidden away. They know what they need to do. So I think now that they've gotten stems done, they can really focus on that. They can really focus on that. Yeah. I think the first all-in-one that can come out with stems, that's going to be a thing. I just don't know how you would process it. I feel like you'd have to do stem separation during when you are syncing up your playlist. I feel like you would have to set that in the engine OS on your computer to separate out the stuff, and then you just have a big ass. You're gonna need a bigger SD card, or USB card. But I think that's really the only way. Because how do you make sure that how do you make sure that the processors that are currently in the boxes for all these all-in-ones are good enough to handle, real-time stems? I would be more concerned with that than anything else. Serato needs better integration for the SE6000M screens. Yeah, I mean, Serato in general works better when the companies that make these things kind of handle it. Their implementation across the board has always just been okay. In any of them, any of the all-in-ones, whether it be Pioneer DJ, whether it be in music, like they're all just okay with Serato. They do the job. I love when people tell me things like Rekordbox is coming out with stems hopefully soon. Well, first off, they don't have a choice. They have to. Secondly, we'll see what happens. I don't, you'd have 3 processors, multiple core processing on the all-in-ones. I don't know what that means because I know that most of these all-in-ones right now don't have multiple cores. So the problem is it's never about the future products. It's always about your legacy products. You have to decide what is more important. Getting something out that works for a future. For instance, right now, even Denon is dealing with some of this, and music is dealing with some of this right now because of the streaming service of Amazon. Amazon requires a security chip to be put inside the hardware. So you can't even, it's not backwards compatible. So now you have to kind of move forward, hoping that Amazon is just not that big of a deal for a lot of people. For people that get the new equipment, oh great, I have Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, perfect. But for the other people that can't get it, you risk that being an issue. Engine processing has 4 cores. That's what you're saying. Well, then, Chris, get on it. No, but in seriousness, that's my only concern, because I do know that even with larger processors, already does. Correct, Chris. That makes sense. Does it now? Are all the processors the same? That's the question. Are all the processors on like the Prime Go? Is it the same as the same processors on the Newmark all-in-ones? So that would be my only question. But I'm glad that it has 4 processors because that does help. Because stems is very processor intensive, as we all know. There's a reason that that Virtual DJ still has a 1.0 version of stems and a 2.0 version, because the intensity of the action. So it'll be a very interesting thing. So I will say, if they can get stems on here and it doesn't require any excess stuff because of the processing power of the cores, I think that's gonna be a big shot in the arm, for all-in-ones. It'll be interesting. Like I don't know what Pioneer DJ's future is, because we all know the stems is coming to the OS, to the computer based, but the question is, you know, can it go in? And then there's this other question of I know a lot of people are asking about the mixers, or mixers coming out with stems. I think that in general they would rather have the stems in the accessory devices over in the mixer itself. As you see here, the A9 came out. You're still going to need something. What company has the best highs? I don't know, Cold World. I haven't heard every high. I've not heard every high. And that's the problem that I have in general, not with that question specifically, but when people tell me, oh, it's RCF. Oh, it's this. Have you listened to every high out there? Probably not. Have you, are you giving me this option because you've listened to set high in a controlled environment at an expo? You know what I'm saying? So that's really my issue. I think there's a lot of good speakers out there. I don't do best. I don't think that's fair to any company because best is subjective. Best is sound coloring and frequency response for your ears. There's a lot of different things. Some people really love that sterile kind of, upper registry sound. They love that. They think that means crisp and it sounds great for them. I don't like them that way. I like mine to have a frequency roll off over the top, because I think that the more crisp they are, the more digital they sound. The more ear fatigue you have. So yeah, very expensive highs are the best. Well, that's not necessarily true. Let me back up. I think very expensive highs get you better hardware, but I also think that there's tons of speakers out there that are cheaper, because a lot of times, you might be paying for the name. It may not be as good as, it may be a good speaker, but you're paying the premium on the name, where you can get another speaker that's $500 cheaper and sounds exactly the same, doesn't have the same name, and you have that. So, I don't know. I mean, I've listened to them all, and I sit on these forums and people just talk all kinds of stuff, and I just sit there and go, okay, like I use JBL for a large portion of my company's career. I just moved over to the QSC system. But that does not mean that that's going to be the ending system for me. I mean, for all I could, for all I know, move over to RCF. The issue with the RCFs for me is not that it's not good, but I question the dollar ratio. I question how much money that I'm spending is giving me said better product. If a JBL blah 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 costs $1,000 and an RCF blah 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 costs $1,600, is it $600 better? Am I seeing a $600 improvement on that piece of equipment? When it's at an event, are you hearing $600 difference as I'm playing, 256 kilobit MP3s? You get what I'm saying? So those are my questions as a business owner. I'm not the one that's gonna just spend. I mean, my partner will be like, "Oh, RCF, they say it's the best, so pay for it." I'm like, "Wait a minute, research it. Is it the best or is it not the best?" So I just prefer I'm about getting the best, but I'm also about making sure that the dollars match too. You know, I mean, there's a reason that you know, a Porsche Panamera costs as much as it does. Okay. I've smoked every high. Betty says I have an RCF setup. I understand what you were saying. Yeah, exactly. Lionel prefers the JBL roll off EV is so bright, which is good to cut through sometimes, but yes, it's fatiguing. Yeah, that's a thing. And I think I mean I'm kind of experiencing that with the QSC, that it has a considerably higher upper registry. So I am going to definitely parametric EQ those highs and bring them down a little bit. Because I think that's really it. But the subs, very, very happy with the subs right off the bat. They just sound good. Simple as that. Okay. It is 12:30. Thought I had I'll be giving you a call in about 15 minutes, but I wanted to, sorry. Okay. So I do have a meeting at 12:30, and he is confirming that he will be calling. So, guys, thank you for hanging out today. Stay tuned for the Engine 3.0 update. That video will come out. It'll probably won't come out till like midnight. I will be working on it all day today. I might go live stream on Twitch today, because I have several pieces of in music gear that I need to do some research on, because time is of the essence. So make sure you guys are on my Twitch show. I do not have a Porsche, but if I had a Porsche, I would be rocking either a Panamera or a Taycan, without question. If I win the lottery, that is the first thing I buy is a Taycan. First thing. I love my house, so I don't need to move out of my house. But yeah, that's it. DJ Shell Shock says, until you get into the next level of speakers like EAW, Meyer, Soundland Acoustics, they're pretty similar. Agreed. And I'm going to be honest with you, Shell Shock. I'm going to say something that's controversial. Okay, it might hurt your ears a little bit. I have gone to these venues, I have gone to these shows, and they're like, oh man, we got the blah blah blahs, we got this, and I walk in, and when I tell you they sound like shit, I mean it. And I know for a fact it has nothing to do with the speakers, but all of these engineers that think they know everything about sound placement and sound design are not as good as they truly believe. So a lot of times you get these great, super expensive speakers that they don't know what to do with, because I've typically found that the more expensive that a speaker is, when you start getting into those like upper end, high end speakers, they have a specific sound, and you have to know those speakers and tailor that sound to get them to sound right. None of those speakers are kind of out of the box, plug in and play. None of them. And engineers, there are a lot of bad engineers out there that make those things sound far worse than they should. In all honesty, like where I'm sitting there going, I would have rather them just have, 4 JBL 828s and 8 highs around the room. Just an opinion. Just an opinion. But I wish I could walk into, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I've gone to, actual shows, like with artists and musicians that sound amazing. But anytime I've gone to an expo or something, they're like, yes, we brought this in and we have our engineers. They don't know. It doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. Man. Anyway, not only that, you need to understand that their speaker modeling software, exactly, none of them are designed to be plug and play. Exactly, Philip. 100%. So, and I mean, honestly, rarely do I walk in and I'm just like, this sounds amazing, where it's not a pure production, a band, a music artist, whatever. Rarely. Oh, Feta. Oh, so and that's the thing too, because I mean, haven't you ever gone to one where they're using like these high end systems and they're like, only come in with WAV files. Our pristine thing is WAV files only, and just like, well, I don't have WAV files for everything, so you're gonna have to deal with my crappy ass, 128 file. That's it. Lehman says, Bass Boss demo room sounded pretty good during Expo 2021. The Bass Boss demo room was 4 feet by 4 feet. Are we talking about the one from last year or the one before? I didn't go to the one before, so I don't know what that one is. But I mean, just in general, I mean, I've seen Bass Boss. I saw Bass Boss at their own warehouse. It's sickening how loud those things can get. Sickening. When they turned on their wall of speakers, and I felt like I was uncomfortable, like legitimately uncomfortable. And I never felt that uncomfortable where I almost had to walk out of the room. Like, I'm sure there's some organ damage happening right now. When do you DJ on here? I never DJ on YouTube, ever. So go to Twitch if you ever want to see me DJ. Never will I ever DJ on here because for a simple reason. This is a bread and butter channel, and I'm not trying to get copyright strikes for music and I lose my channel over some dumb stuff. So I DJ on Twitch. I DJ and occasionally mix stream. Is that what it's called? It's been so long since I've been on there. Okay. Yeah, drive racks are really good. I get that. Yeah. But I just think that the simple fact is, if you know your system, if you really, really know it, then yes, you can tweak it however you need to. But in general, if you don't, I say stick to, yeah. But again, us mobile DJs, aren't doing, those super 5,000 people, 10,000 people events. If that were the case, I'd ask one of my guys like Woopig, because that's what he does now. He does backline stuff, backline and front of house stuff. He brings in all the speakers. So, everybody's different. Mixcloud. I knew it was Mixcloud. You know what? That's more of an indication of Mixcloud's prowess than it is mine. The fact that I don't know what it's called tells you this is a Mixcloud problem, not a Cleveland Terry problem, not a CT problem. It's really sad. It's really sad. You should DJ a royalty-free set. Not how it works. There's no such. What am I going to DJ? All my Epidemic Sound music? Like, what's the point of DJing a royalty-free set if people don't know the music you're playing? You're not going to get. I mean, that's something you can do, but it's kind of pointless. Even music that like you think is royalty-free, sometimes it's not. So it's just too much work. Mixmaster G. So, that is hilarious because if you guys remember, I had Mixcloud on the show, and we talked about this extensively. Oh yes, this is what we're gonna do. We've seen how good Twitch is. This is what we're going to put out there. We're gonna have you guys, coming over in droves. That was I had him on. His name's Nico. I had Nico on. It's funny how I remember his name and not the name of the service. Anyway, I had Nico on, I believe, in January or February of 2021. So it was a good, 8 to 9 months after Mixcloud was competing with Twitch heavily. And he said by the end of the year, we will be on par. And in the next couple of months, we're going to institute a whole bunch of things. They've done no such thing. They've done a couple of things, but it's still not Twitch. Still not Twitch. Okay. Okay. Anyway, oh, Play DJ TV was I talked to Play DJ. I think every major streaming person talked to Play DJ. I will say this: Play DJ had an excellent idea and no way to really get it out there. That's it. Excellent idea. When my phone rings, that's when I get off this call. Sorry. Okay. I'm reading text messages. Anyway, so what was Play DJ? Exactly. Play DJ was supposed to be the a 100% competitor to Twitch and Mixcloud, and the things that they said they wanted to do and that they were going to do and they were in the pipeline were amazing. Didn't matter. They never did it. They never did it. So we were left with Twitch and Mixcloud, and occasionally YouTube. But yeah, and now we have TikTok. So and TikTok seems to be doing okay also. I'll probably DJ on TikTok, not today. Maybe. The problem with TikTok is you have to have a certain amount of numbers to use like an OBS. So I don't really want to go to my phone. It's kind of annoying. So that's really my only issue with TikTok for me. You know, you have to have like, I don't know. I think it's like, is it 10,000 or 50,000? It's some big number that where they give you access to the stream key, but not about it. Can you talk about the Rain 4? No. But sit tight. Things are coming. So sit tight. It'll be faster than you think. Okay. Streaming for DJs without an audience. and I actually started telling people no, in all honesty. I have 1,000, so I don't know. I'll check again. I know they've been modifying stuff lately, so it could have been they dropped it down, but I could have sworn it was 10,000 at a certain point. But I know a DJ that streams from 9 to 1 and made over 1,000 on TikTok. I mean, that's great. That's great. You know, I know there's a couple of Twitch people that have made the move over. One of the Chicago natives. I've seen him on Twitch a lot lately. But yeah, I mean, hey, go do your thing. You know, make that money, figure out what works for you, and handle it. Rev 10 coming. No, it is not. No, it is not. No Rev 10. I'm very happy with the Rev 7 size. I'm very happy about that size. I don't think it needs to be any bigger than that, because that means heavier. That means new cases. That means a lot of new things. I'm totally fine. The Rev 7 is big enough. Okay. We are adding TikTok setup to OBS using vertical plugin. We just need the RTM server key for TikTok. Anyone know where to find it? You can't find the RTMP server key. It doesn't exist. It has to be given to you. That's what I'm saying. So until then, I don't necessarily want, because then I got to go phone, and then I got to go the USB out, USB to Lightning, or grab my stupid, you know what I'm talking about, and put that in there. So there's just a lot more work. They most likely go Rev 12 directly, if only to upset Nick. They're not going to go with a bigger jog controller. Nobody wants that. Honestly, nobody wants everybody says they want this. This is the funny thing about it. You know, it's the same. They have ones. They have the XZ, the SZ. Those are big controllers. Prime 4, big controllers. Prime 4 not as big as some of them, but big controllers. So there's a certain set of people that love the size of those. But I don't truly believe that's the masses. Now, of course, at least with the Prime 4, it's an all-in-one. So you're not losing, you don't have to bring your computer. You don't have to bring all these things. So the size is the size doesn't matter as much. Okay. Because that's your all in one. It's essentially taking up your computer. There's that. I haven't tried Yellow Duck Audio One. I'll have to check into that. But I think when we're starting to do, like, when we're thinking about, a Rev 10 or a Rev 12, I mean, we're the size of that controller. You're gonna need a bigger controller. It's gonna need to be wider, deeper. Potentially the motors have to be better. So I don't want something that big. I don't want to carry that around. I mean, okay, for instance, which I will say, the Rain 4, okay? The Rain 4, 4-channel mixer, 8-inch jogs, good size. No motors. Because there's no motors, it is considerably lighter. It's a bigger controller, but it's lighter. You put motors into this very same controller, you're probably going to add 15 to 20 pounds is my guess. And now the question is, now you have something that's big and heavy. So there has to be a compromise. There has to be a compromise. And the compromise is typically the moving platters. So that 7-inch platter is kind of the sweet spot. Look, if I were a manufacturer making something, would I ever come out with a 10-inch or 12-inch platter controller? No. Why? Because I truly believe that you will get people to buy it. And when those people are done buying it, nobody else will buy it. So you're going to have, your maybe 0.0001% that buy this product. And then everybody else is like, it's too big for me. I'll go with something smaller. So the question becomes, is it worth the R&D, the manufacturing, all that stuff to possibly sell a little more or a little less, or find a sweet spot where everybody's comfortable and a whole bunch of people buy it? That's my issue. I have I'm working out a deal with Max Design. Okay. I'm going to be, an ambassador for Max Design. And, the Rev 7, the Rain 1, or the DDJ 1000 all fit in the furniture that I'm getting. But once it starts to get too heavy, I don't want it. I don't want to carry my coffin again. I remember 15 years ago having a coffin. I remember working alone and trying to set up that coffin, those turntables, that mixer. I remember having to angle my body and get just the right amount of leverage to lift up that heavy ass coffin to get it on the stand, to get it on the table. And that's what I had, PLX 1000s and an S9 that was in my coffin. Or it could have been, no. Well, the first one I had was the Rain 62. And then I had moved to the S9. My Rain 70 is sitting right here. I don't ever want to go through that again. Ever. I never want to go through that again. So even when I get the furniture, like if I put in the Rev 7 and I lift it up and it's too heavy, I'm going to swap out to the Rain 1 or the 1000. And then those will be reserved for those cases when they want to have, furniture and they pay for the upgrade. I'm over. I work out a lot of the times for doing this type of stuff. I'm over it. The QSC speakers, they might be the same weight as like my JBL 818s, but because of the size that they are and where the handles and everything are, it's so much easier to get in my truck. I'm all about ease of use now. I'm not about big ass things. And I say this, knowing what's on the horizon. But it'll be very interesting. Anyway, That's how I felt with my NS7 in a flight case. I could not imagine that NS7 II in a flight case. I am so glad they came out with the Rain 1. Honestly, all these people were just like, well, it's just the NS7. Shut up. It's like 40 pounds less. It is not like the NS7. Maybe Pioneer can release a Rev 5 as a mid controller. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's anybody's guess. But as a mobile guy, my thoughts on the A9 are 2 hours ago. My thoughts are simple. It's a very good mixer. It's an evolution of the 900. The features they put on there are very, very good. I won't have a review coming for it, so check Mojax's review on it. Because his is very thorough. He'll take care of you. Yeah. Mixmaster says S7 plus 2 LC 6000s, very lightweight, and I can swap the LCs for PLXs. That's actually not a bad idea. That's actually a really good idea. To me, the S7 and the Rain 70 are virtually identical. Now, of course, the S7 is lighter, a little smaller, a little more narrow. But in general, yeah, I really do. I do like that setup. Honestly, when I used the S7, not S7, the S5 and the LC 6000s, with the MacBook, that was super light. Anyway, I did a whole year of wedding gigs with the Rain 12 with Coffin. So, to be fair, I'm looking at Matt Ames's comment. That's hilarious. To be fair, when we first started, there weren't a lot of controllers. Okay, so that was almost 16 years ago. So we're talking about at that point in time, we really the SL boxes were the only things that were in town. So I had my first mixer that we ever bought for the company was a PT05, a SL1 box, Technics 1200s MK3s in a Coffin. That was the first one. I had some JRX JBL highs. When I think back to the sound that was coming out of my system, it must have been terrible. It must have been so bad. Because the moment I plugged in those JRXs, we used the JRXs one time. We got them. I plugged them in at the party and I said, oh my God, this is the shittiest sound I've ever heard. And I took them back the next day and got new speakers. Yeah. The PT05 mixer, as good as it was for scratching, had the worst microphone preamps in existence. It would give so much feedback. The output was low. It was just bad. The things we do when we start out, right? The things we do. Adrian says, do any of you DJ any events? Do you DJ any events in Oxnard or Ventura? Not really. I do private events in Oxnard and Ventura. I don't have any club work out there yet. I am at Bogies in Westlake next month in April. There's another spot I'm trying to get locked in. The lady won't call me back because she's too busy. I'm trying to get another spot in Agora. I got to call my guy out in Oxnard who kind of runs things out there to get on the billing. But no, typically I don't do any public things out there. Like I'm doing my Temples Prom Carnival on Sunday. That's in Thousand Oaks. So, it just depends. Ventura is Ventura. Okay. Last thing, and then I gotta go. I'm waiting for this call. I'm watching. Take your time, call me. Oh, that's hilarious. My guy is on the show, the one I'm supposed to be talking to. He's actually watching the show. I was waiting for him to call so I could get off the show, and he's watching the show. So that's hilarious. So I do have to go Westlake Village Inn. Yep. Keith Just. I think I'm doing it April. I think April 25th. No, April 22nd. Because I'm in Vegas doing a private event on the 15th. So April 22nd. Yep. Yeah, it said right there. GT Bogies. Well, there you go. So it should be a good time. Hurry up. All right. Sorry now. Guys, any thoughts on uplights? I'm looking into inexpensive Rockville uplights for small mobile gigs. I don't own any Rockvilles, but I have seen them on events. They do the job. You know, look, price is relative to the manufacturer selling them. So my Chauvet Freedom Bar hexes are super expensive. But they tie in with all my other Chauvet products, so it makes it easy for me to control them all. My my Chinese hex uplights that I bought 12. We bought 6 cases of uplights from China, and they cost me. Well, let's see here. If my Chauvet Freedom Bar hexes are $3.99 per light, and then when you factor in the box, I think I was paying like $4K per box of 9. For one box of 9 Chauvet Freedom Bar hexes, I bought 6 boxes of Chinese ones. And to answer your question, they work just as good. I mean, the DMX is different, but they work just as good. So I'm a big fan. Now, if you're asking me which ones I use Chauvet, but all my other guys will use the other ones. But I've used both of them. I've programmed them both. I've wired them up both. I've used them simultaneously together. The only problem is Chauvet's channel 4, DMX4, not DMX, their channel 4 is amber, and the Chinese ones is white. Like their amber is like 7. That's it. I like the Freedom Tripart uplights and they work well. I use 13 of them. So what I would tell people is this. If you are buying uplights, don't get anything less than RGB white. I would even say amber. You don't have to get UV. Okay. That's the hex part of it. But I think that if you only get RGB, you're losing out on some colors that might come very easy to other lights. So, the RGBs will do majority of colors, but their color mixing might not come out the same, or somebody will be like, oh, I like that pink, but can you give me something that's a little different? And that's where your RGB is going to struggle. So in case you really want to know, RGB, it's red, green, blue. That's a mixture. Then you got RGB white that adds in an extra level of color. Then you have RGB white amber, which is a dedicated amber. So if somebody wants that, amber is a very popular color with party planners. So amber having a stock amber goes a long way, because anytime you try to color mix amber, it'll look like amber from far away, but when you get a little closer, it starts to change. It's not as good. And then you have red, green, blue, white, amber, and then UV. And that UV is going to infuse vibrance into your lighting. Not only do you have a actual, ultraviolet light, so now you can do black lights with just your uplights, but it will infuse the colors. So your pinks, you can get that hot pink color that you can't get with anything else. So there's reasons for all of them, but I don't really care as much about the UV. I care about the amber and I care about the white. So I would say at least do red, green, blue, white, maybe amber. I would just it's not much more, to get the amber. So, but amber is very, very important. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Matthew's right. Yeah, when you do use all those colors, yeah, you're using every one of your lights in every channel, so you are going to kill your battery. I mean, don't get me wrong, most uplights last a long ass time. on a full charge, but still, like, I can get on a full charge, running lights and DMX and everything, color changing. I can get 2 to 3 parties out of my uplights easily, and that's on both the Chinese ones and that one. Okay, that's it for me because I do have to talk to my guy. He's waiting for me. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Sorry if I didn't get to everybody's question, but it's been one of those weird days. Obviously, I've gone 3 hours when I normally only go 2. So clearly something was off. So thank you guys for hanging out today. I appreciate you. And make sure you are locked in for my videos because I do have several videos coming out over the next couple of weeks. I have multiple videos coming up for things that people are going to want to know about. So, extra AMA live stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. Oh, dope. Okay. I'll make sure I check it out. Yeah. So make sure you guys are following Mixmaster GNL because the guy knows his stuff and it's always good. Always good. And let me go back to my music and alphabetical order vlog playthrough. I love that. All right, y'all. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your afternoon. And you guys might see me on Twitch later on today. All right, y'all. See you soon. Enjoy yourself. Peace out.